Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, April 28th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How are you making out?
I am good, bro. Very sore. Hiked 12 miles yesterday, so that's good times. But other than that, I'm excited, bro.
And the reason Bijan is excited is because we are joined by two very special guests this week. They're here to talk Ninja vs. Ninja Episode 9, but also about their brand new ninja business, Ninja Nation.
Ooh. Get a ding for that.
First up, we have a man that needs no introduction, but he's getting one anyway. The only ninja to ever complete a perfect 6-buzzer season and the first American Ninja Warrior, Geoff Britten. How's retirement treating you, Geoff?
Oh, it's going really well. And hey, guys, first of all, thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure. I still listen to the show every week, and I enjoy it. I love the new format changes. They're fantastic. You guys are killing it. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't talk for an hour every week, but I love how you guys do.
Thanks, Geoff.
Dude, thank you so much.
We were thrilled to have you back. Absolutely thrilled. It was so much fun last time you were here. One of our favorite episodes to record, and it's very exciting to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited for everything you got coming in the future, man. I'm really excited, and pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
And also joining us is one of the most talented and recognizable fan favorites on ANW. It's Captain NBC himself, Jamie Rahn. How are you making out, Jamie?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys.
Ninja Nation, let's get right into the heart of it here, because I was not sure what that was when I first started talking to you, and I've been looking into it, and it sounds pretty actually cool. I'll kick it over to you, Geoff. Can you, as the creative director, can you kind of give us a heads up on what Ninja Nation is?
Well, it's a really fancy title, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it means. But Ninja Nation, at its heart, is a goal to have 1 million heroes, right? We want to have 1 million kids across the country come out, try ninja obstacles, succeed, and really have a great time. The whole idea we're going for is, kids working out, enjoying it like a climbing gym or a ninja gym, but where they're not feeling like they're working out and they're getting all the benefits and they're getting the enjoyment. And as you guys are well aware, with Bijan competing on the show, Jamie competing on the show, Rich maybe in, Canadian Ninja Warrior.
Exactly. Yes, Canadian Ninja Warrior. That I will be on board completely when that happens. Yeah,
absolutely. But really, there's a huge community aspect too that's very important to us. And I was reached out to by a group who had all these interests in mind. And as you guys know, when you do well on the show, and Jamie knows this as well, a lot of people reach out to you with ideas, right? Everyone has great ideas, but the execution is hard. Right. So a lot of people reached out to us, and this was the first one to me personally that felt right. It felt like it was worth moving my family across the country, walking away from a very comfortable job, and stepping back into the spotlight, right? I'm back in Ninja Warrior. And just so you guys know, I will be coming back to compete next season on Season 11.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Ding for that. Big news. Here we go.
Huge.
Yeah, why not, right? It's been fun. I don't regret taking a little break, but I'm excited to get back. And it's been really great with the ability to hire some amazing coaches like Jamie, working with Bryan, Arnold, and just surrounding myself with the ninja community again. It really made me feel like that's what I've been missing. And that's also part of what Ninja Nation is. But at its essence, we're going to be opening a lot of gyms, right? We're going to be trying to increase access for kids around the country, because if you're a rock climber, you can find a gym anywhere. Ninja Warrior, not so much. There are a lot of gyms, but there just aren't enough yet. So we have this goal to not only have 1 million heroes, but to also have gyms for everybody where they're needed.
That's really cool. So right now you've got 3 locations. Did I read that correctly? 2 in Colorado and roughly, it's in Lafayette and Englewood. So that's roughly Boulder and Denver, right?
Yep. Jamie and I were actually offloading the trust today up in Lafayette. The gyms aren't open yet. They'll be opening in June, and our second gym will open in July. And then we'll be opening one in Dallas around that time frame. And after that, we're going to be opening gyms 1 or 2 a month for the foreseeable future.
Whoa.
That's very quick. So are there any particular perspective areas that you're really looking at right now?
Right now, we're really looking at spreading out into California, Las Vegas, Arizona, kind of the Midwest to the West. And then once we have our footprint established, we'll spread out some more.
So I was a little confused at first because I wasn't sure if you were opening new gyms or working with existing gyms. This is strictly new gyms?
Yes, Ninja Nation will be all new gyms. We're trying to do it state of the art. I like to call it Ninja Gyms 2.0, where you have, top-notch facilities instead of, I love every Ninja Gym I've ever been to, but a lot of them are dark and they're a little dingy and dirty and they don't have the best equipment, and it's run by heart, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put that heart into modern facilities.
So when you say modern facilities, are you speaking more towards safety? Are you talking more towards cleanliness? Are you talking more of the warehouse scenario where we see a lot of the current gyms at? Like, just expand a little bit more on that if you can, just like what the difference is that you're talking about.
The difference to me is like a really well-lit gym that's comforting, that has great architecture done. We're doing all of our own architecture. We have one of the top architect firms in the country working with us. So they're designing these amazing lobbies where you can come in. But really, the goal is to have these top-notch facilities where anybody's comfortable coming in, and safety is definitely a big part of it. And maybe Jamie can expand on that as well, because from our first talks talking about coming over to Ninja Nation, safety was incredibly important to him, and he's actually done a lot working with me to make things safer for everybody.
Yeah, I've been really kind of focused on that today after the trust work. I have a big pet peeve with gyms that, not necessarily the gyms, but maybe kind of the approach they have towards Ninja Warrior. And I really want to turn this direction of people going towards, completing the obstacle versus, being well adapted to do obstacles. So what I mean by that is people see the show and Joe Schmo going on the obstacle, jump, make it to the end, landing on his knees on the, the mat, and successfully makes the obstacle, but barely makes it. And I really like the idea of, or instilling the idea of being able to do the obstacle because you're good enough and you have the control of it, not just get to the end. And a lot of gyms and coaches that have kind of come up recently don't really have experience within the show, kind of just see that in the show, and they just want to bring that to the community. And when they do, it kind of builds this unsafe idea of just trying to complete something by any means necessary. And it's really something that I want to instill with our students and our coaching staff, that it's about becoming a better athlete, not just beating the obstacle that's right in front of you. And also teaching techniques and spotting techniques and obstacle design, where you could build the coolest obstacle ever, but there's a good chance that, someone's going to peel out this way, or, there's a high risk of someone inverting in this direction. A big pet peeve of mine is the warp wall. So I love the warp wall. Many people love the warp wall. And for however reason, people think that it goes up and is in the shape of a big C that comes back over top of itself, where you've got maybe, 6 inches to a foot of oververt. And if you do anything more than that, if you miss the top, you're dropping 8+ feet straight down onto an angled surface. Mm-hmm. And many people get, torn Achilles and, busted ankles and legs because of not only this mindset of I got to go as hard and fast as I can, but this idea of this is a cool obstacle we're going to build in, not thinking about the design of it. I've never had anyone injured on a warp wall in my facility or that I've been, training personally. I've done warp wall workshops. I've done all that. And, it's something that I really see as possible. And with Ninja Nation, we'll be able to have this widespread and this influence. We can start directing people into this, safe way of progressing and training and designing.
That's good. That's really good. Actually, Bijan, without calling out the specific gym, I know you've had your own run-in with like a dangerous warped wall.
Yeah, I was exactly thinking that. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I've definitely come across, warped walls where, as you said, Jamie, it is peeling out like super far away. And I look at it, I'm like, if I miss this ledge, I am going to kill myself or seriously hurt myself. And just the material it's made out of and everything, it's just like, that's not happening. A lot of the gyms I've been to, I usually go to open gyms, so, I can't really call them out being in terms like, hey, they aren't explaining what to do. But there's definitely some design concerns that I have towards a lot of the obstacles. And it sounds like you guys are taking the right approach, especially when it comes to children, because that's the thing that I was always nervous about. In a scenario like me where I'm in San Diego, but there's not a lot of gyms around here, and whatever is around in my vicinity, whether it's LA or, out east, wherever, there's not many ninja or warped walls, and the ones that there are, it's like, ooh. but they're expanding more, and I was actually able to try I forget the name, Movement M-Labs warped wall, and finally I was able to be like, wow, an actual warped wall that I can try and not feel like I'm gonna kill myself on it, and it makes such a difference. So I'm really excited about that, and more expansion to properly built ninja gyms is the way to go. So I'm very, very excited about this.
Yeah, and I think that's great that you're able to see when something's unsafe, where a lot of people coming in don't even have that awareness to know that this can be unsafe because of what could go wrong. And so I think educating them is great. And I think a lot of the gyms are just short on resources, which I don't want to fault them for not having the right resources to have the best equipment. However, that is no excuse for a poor design. Like you said, you could make the same type of shape with the same material, or you could make, a safe design with the same material and the same cost.
To kind of jump off what Jamie said, another really key aspect of Ninja Nation is building these communities, right? And I feel a very good way to do that is to bring in well-known ninjas who are not just good ninjas on the show, but good people. If you're going to work for Ninja Nation, you have to be a good person. Yeah. And we're trying to build these communities around these people. Jamie was one of our first hires. He'll be the head coach at our first facility, and you couldn't ask for someone better than Jamie with his years of experience coaching to kind of build our starter and then expand out from there. I'm really excited to have Ryan Stratus come out and join us for our gym number 2. And I'm almost even more excited to have Karsten Williams open up Gym 3 in Dallas for us, just because the building is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen, and it's going to kill it down there.
And if I saw correctly, Brian Arnold's the head of the mobile Ninja Nation. What is that all about?
Yeah, well, we have a mobile division, which is led by Bryan, and he'll be launching that whenever we move to a new area. So he's currently running the mobile division here in Denver, and Karsten will also be running a mobile division in Dallas as we launch, kind of to build excitement, right? Especially as we move to areas like California where there's not a lot of ninja gyms. We feel it's very important to get the word out there, to go to schools, to go to parks, to get people excited about Ninja Warrior, and then to have a facility for them to train at.
So is this going to be more of an awareness type thing? When you say mobile gym, are you talking like they'll set up some, like, I don't know, like obstacles at a park, or what's the idea?
So Brian's done an amazing job building a mobile course that he can put in a truck and take out. And I've seen these before, and there are really good ones. He has the capability of building, Jamie, what do you think? Like 175-foot long course? We've had some ridiculously long courses.
That's really long.
Limited by the space you have at this point. You could take out a whole football field if you really wanted to and make it a ninja course.
Are you guys gonna have it in like high schools or like that? We're talking really long course at that point. So like, what's the idea?
Well, the idea is that it's completely configurable to fit any shape, any size, and any ability, right? So we have truss bays, as I call them, where he can come out and he can put any obstacles between it. You can also run side by side on the course, so you can race your friend through the course, right? And with all of that, we just have the capability to really do whatever we want.
That's exciting. So really, it's going to be an opportunity for, huge communities to go out and really embrace American Ninja Warrior in many ways and try things out. And I once again, I have to imagine safety is a big component of it. So I feel like a lot of families are going to be excited for it, because I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen this in the statistics that when it comes to people really enthusiastic and trying these obstacles, it's really a lot of youth, right?
Yeah, I would say it's like 80% and 20% slated towards kids.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I knew it was slanted, but I didn't know it was quite that much. That's pretty insane. Which is good for the future of the sport, right? That's what you want to do, is the youth that grow up. We're seeing that now with some of the ninjas competing on the show, right? They've grown up watching ninja and wanting to be ninjas. So it just bodes well for the future for the sport.
Oh yeah, their skills are way surpassing us, and they're going to be showing us things and being able to do, phenomenal things that we didn't even think could be done in well under a decade.
Whoa, speak for yourself, buddy. The over 40 crowd, we're coming back.
yeah. I think we're gonna have our day, and I think we could hold on maybe 10 years max before we're just what's his name, Dr. Octopus. Okay, nice. We're gonna end up being that guy, and I'm okay with it. So you gotta make terms with that sooner or later.
Well, I've already had my day in the sun. I am good, Jamie.
It's all gravy at this point. Yeah.
I've definitely peaked. And that is okay. You know what? I love going out to the city events this year and seeing the 19-year-olds compete on the course. A lot of these kids, when I traveled last year with the show, were the testers. And some of the best testers were 18 to 19-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. And they've got the chance to come out and compete this year, and I'm so excited to see how they do.
We get to see that with Matisse, right, from Iron Sports. He's just amazing. We saw him on Ninja Warrior College, Team Ninja Warrior College Edition. And,
Kid.
Yeah, Kid is just crazy good.
Yes, he is. Yep. So another feature of Ninja Nation gyms that'll be unique to all of the facilities is that we're going to have dual racing lanes in each gym. Trust-based racing lanes where we can configure and make the courses exactly the same for each person. So you'll truly have an opportunity to do exactly what you see on Ninja vs. Ninja, where you're racing head-to-head right next to somebody else, racing a clock, racing your friends. And it'll pop up on the leaderboard above you, and you can see who is truly the fastest. And that, to me, is a game changer. It's the first game changer that we're bringing where no one else has that capability, and we do. And speaking of that, let's chat about the show. We got Jamie. We had a great episode of Ninja vs. Ninja, and I would love to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, that was a great segue, Geoff. Thank you very much for that. But I have to say, this was a very weird episode. This was nothing like what I expected to see happen. Bijan, were you as surprised as I was?
I mean, at the beginning I was, but then I started to understand what was going on. I mean, Jamie can speak to it more, but they changed up something about this episode relative to all the other episodes in terms of the flooding monkey bars, which I think played a major, major factor. That said, I mean, this episode was incredibly entertaining. I loved it. It was I don't know, these episodes where you just don't know what's going to happen. Everything's going back and forth, and everything you were expecting to happen isn't happening. I mean, it was crazy cool. It was a mix of emotions, and first time this season where I'm literally screaming at the TV. So it was crazy stuff.
I love that you finally got to see people failing because there were hard obstacles again. Because to me, that's what's special about Ninja Warrior, and to see that included in Ninja vs. Ninja made it so much more real to me.
Dude, doesn't it make such a difference having the really, really tough obstacles? It's cool seeing there's some transition obstacles. None of these things are easy to a layman like me, but there's a big degree in difficulty comparative when it comes to the obstacles in this episode to maybe last week or so, and you see it portrayed in the ninjas and the struggle going on, and I found this far more invigorating than just somebody flying through the course in 30 seconds or so.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. Sorry, Jamie.
No, I'm agreeing. I think I've always loved and wanted to have the flying bar in the race, because I learned to do it consecutively, which I just wanted to be able to do on a large scale like that. And so I almost got my wish with the flying monkey bars. And after me and Drew went through, Bernardo's yeah, I think I'm just going to make that a flying bar. So he turned it into the obstacle I wanted. It was a great idea, and it kind of worked some of the time. And the obstacles are more difficult. I think every obstacle on that course is 100% doable by every person who does that course. However, when you're in that race and you're trying to go fast, you're trying to do these bigger moves and do these things that, these obstacles actually do become, more difficult to the point where you can actually fail them, and it's not just a time limit anymore. I'd always been disappointed in some of the designs, and I liked our course. I thought our course was pretty well set. There was one or two obstacles that they had where if you got to it first, you won the show because you could block the other person. And I always thought that was really kind of lame. I like the idea of being able to go head to head the entire way through the course. And so having things like that in play really makes it more fun because you're with someone the entire time. You can see them, right by your side, assuming you didn't get too far ahead or too far behind. But yeah, we were the first run to go for the night, which was really exciting. And I don't know how much to say, how much they really care to be known ahead of time or not. But at some point before filming the episode, I ended up getting a concussion, which is no excuses because I still did decent enough. I just made a bunch of mistakes, which added up. But then I found out, a week later that I, did end up having a concussion. I had to do all this, rehab and other stuff to get back to it. But I literally just watched it maybe an hour ago for the first time because I don't have cable. So I just had to find it online and actually able to watch it. So I was able to kind of see, and all these little mistakes add up. I saw like I was really efficient and fast on the parts that were good, but I had like one or two mistakes on each thing. And those were enough to put me behind, I think, like a second and a half on the thing. And that's what I love about the Ninja vs. Ninja. It's so exciting. Like you talked about, even just being there is more exciting than the show because it's constant action. It's always something going on. It's always some big move and some, really exciting thing. There's almost no rest period unless you're in the really long relay at the end. But, it's super exciting being on it. It's super exciting watching it. And it's super exciting having, a teammate run it and even watching it on TV again because it's so much fast-paced action.
It still makes my hands sweat watching it.
Yeah.
Hey, Bijan, I have a question for you.
What's up?
You talked about this course feeling different and changing it, and I think a lot of that was due to the flying monkey bars. Did you like that as an obstacle?
I love it. So before, in previous episodes, every single rung of those bars had every single rung had its own bar. So people were just, transitioning from bar to bar. And it played a part in some episodes, but really it wasn't much of a factor, in particular for where it was positioned in the course. This change up where now there's only 2 bars and you have to transition them rung to rung, this makes a world of difference. And you saw a different approach to it. Some people going very quickly with it and a lot of times failing, and some people, taking their time trying to do it, but methodically. But overall, I found it more compelling. That said, I want to know your guys' opinion because it does slow down the pace of the show. So, it's more of like our traditional A&W obstacle now. Were you guys okay with this? Or, were you guys like, oh, I just need fast-paced action all the time?
Yeah, I don't think it really slows down the pace of the show. But because there's more moves in it, it makes every move more important. So you see someone make a mistake and have to reset. It's so much more impactful than doing, 2-3 moves and you're done. Like the moves where its obstacle is done in 1 or 2 pieces, it's exciting and fast, but you forget about that obstacle after it's done. You're on to the next one. Where this, it makes that obstacle really important and really kind of builds that anticipation when they get to it. And, are they going to be able to dismount off? They're a little bit ahead. Okay, now they're a little bit behind. And you get a little more of that back and forth, I think, on the longer obstacles.
We've talked a lot about risk versus reward on Ninja vs. Ninja and Team Ninja Warrior, and this was one of those obstacles I felt really, truly showed what risk versus reward was. Because like you said, Bijan, there was a lot of different ways to do it, and some were much riskier but could pay off well, as we saw with Bernardo just flying through them, right? But then he tries again and splash, unfortunately. Sorry, Mike. But, what more could you ask for? That was actually an obstacle I helped create. It was really cool. As Jamie was saying about the flying bars, originally that was going to be a flying bar setup. And a lot of people felt that was too hard. So in a very short amount of time, we had to figure out what to do. And it was changed into a flying monkey bar. And I thought it played really well. So I'm very proud of it.
I'm gonna have to be the dissenting opinion here as the layman. I didn't like it just because of the amount of failures on it. Personally, I just felt like it was a little over tweaked. It's perfect for regular A&W. I absolutely love that obstacle, but for this, I just don't like seeing so many failures. I want to see people go fast when I'm watching this particular version of the show. So
yeah,
weird company to be dissenting on, but that's just the way I saw it. But yeah, so the first matchup we had, just to be clear, was Superhero Squad versus Wisco Warriors. Jamie,
Yep.
when you
We're
took the
just
course,
now getting into the runs.
yeah, we're pretty far into the episode. Maybe we should actually talk about who was running the course here.
Nice.
Wisco Warriors, were you worried? Like, what was your familiarity with them, I guess? Did you know them from previous competitions?
I knew them, but I hadn't really trained with them or, knew kind of what skill level they were at. I think everyone had Sean, Bryan, Adam, and Rebekah topped as like the team to beat. And so that whole episode group, I think all three teams were just thinking of, okay, I have to beat, the tryhards. And that's,
Right.
the team that's going to come down to it. And the other team was just that stepping stone there. 2 years ago when I first did Team Ninja, we went similar. We were out in the first round. The second season we went in, I think we ran like more races than anyone. We had like a relay on everything. So we got to race a lot and did really well, even though we didn't make it to finals. And then this year we kind of reverted back to that failing in the beginning. And I think we were just kind of shook up and, before in previous seasons, which was new for this season, is you would have a seeding round and then an elimination round. So your first race wouldn't really matter, except that you would race the winner or loser, depending if you won or lost, your first race. So you basically got kind of a warm-up race to feel the course, get on it, hit it with speed and understand where you're going to move. Where this one, it was all done on the fly. So your first race in was the determining make or break moment, which is not my forte. I'm much better. Once I understand something, I can hit it much better. It's why I do better in finals than I do in qualifiers. And so that was something that me and I think Sean is very similar. Rachael, she's pretty strong throughout it. It may be similar with her, but I think the Waco Warriors are just very good at hitting and adapting that first time.
It's like the new breed of Ninja Warrior, right? They're younger kids who train all the time. They train together. They're so fast and so strong and so consistent that's what we're going to see more of as time goes on. It's great for the sport.
Yeah, and I think Ninja versus Ninja is like amazing for the sport as a whole. Like, it is, as Jamie said earlier, it's so fun to watch. It's the spectator version of the sport where it's not as much reality TV. Of course, there's reality TV aspects to it, but ANW itself is a reality show at the end of the day when you put all the stories and everything else. We don't need stories. We just need to see the race in this case.
Yeah.
And it's actually way more exciting in person. I don't think the TV captures how exciting it is in person, which is something interesting. You guys have never been to one, I don't think, right? Bijan, have you been to any?
No. I've been to A&W, but not Ninja versus Ninja. I want to.
You must.
You must.
That would be cool. That would be good if we both get to one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I fully understand what you mean because it does have more, it's not the best comparison, but really like a sporting type of vibe where, you're seeing your favorite personalities running full speed into these courses, and there is no time to break down, the emotion, the struggle. Like, there's struggle and everything, but it's not a slower pace approach. It's very fast, and you're just screaming at the top of your lungs, just seeing incredible feats of action and athleticism happening. When you guys are talking about the approach of youth, it's one thing that I've kind of noticed when it comes to this season is, the exploration of, is experience better or is youth and athleticism better? Just like raw power of like, hey, I'm an 18-year-old and I can run 1,000,000 miles, and it's really interesting. And I just, to this day, I want to go back with Rich and just break down who's been excelling this season overall. I think experience is still taking it's the middle ground where people have both experience and youth, but I think like youth is going like nipping at the heels of being a major, major factor into this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the community has grown so much and it's such a sharing community that experience on the show is being kind of devalued because we're sharing all that knowledge and information so freely with everyone to get everyone just to be better and just to see what everyone's capable of. We see the 18-year-old kid who's just destroying everything. We're like, hey, let me, show you what I've learned to help you get better. And then they can just take that and apply it, directly without having to spend, 4 or 5 years competing to get to that level of, okay, I understand how things are going to work, how things are going to move, and that sort of stuff, and having these resources around, I think experience isn't nearly going to be as important as being not necessarily young in skill, but having the athletic ability within that sharing community is going to trump experience and just being strong in general, if that makes sense.
It does. It means Ninja Nation's going to be training your replacements, basically. It's what you're getting at.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. It's about time.
For years.
What's the old saying? Hard work beats talent any day, but talent and hard work always wins. Maybe there's something to be said for the youth, too. Youth and experience beats anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, like when we say youth, it's not like some kid that's just going into Ninja versus Ninja for the first time. Like, we're at this point in the American Ninja Warrior community where these kids have been training for maybe 5 or even 10 years, you know, and they've been waiting, nipping at the heel bits to be old enough to try this stuff, and finally they're of age to give it a go. And we're seeing the results of years and years of passion and experience and training and getting a shot. And that's what's really exciting.
Speaking of youth, was anybody else excited to see Mike Needham back on the course?
I am so sorry, everyone. I had no idea this guy had 4 years experience.
Oh, he's the best.
Drawing from the old school.
That's right. A total monster that no new ninjas seem to know. And it's a shame.
Shame for me, man.
Well, we know him now. Now. Mike Needham did amazing. It was really fun to watch.
He competed back in me when the swing was an actual obstacle and not something you just grabbed the chain and ran off of.
That's right.
So yeah, let's move on to that matchup. So the Wisco Warriors unfortunately did sweep Superhero Squad. Sorry, Jamie.
Tis what happened.
The first shocker of the night, man. I'm sorry. I had Superhero Squad like my number 4 of the season. You guys would have been number 3, except you guys were on the same episode as Tryhards, and I was genuinely shook.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. I think the team was surprised we didn't at least get one, but I mean, you know, like we're saying, youth and, you know, skill, and everyone's just starting to get close to that same level. It's just, can you do it without mistakes is what's really important now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we look at the next matchup, it was the Tryhards versus Hazard Brigade. And this one, too, was full of surprises. Like, we had Mike Bernardo versus Sean Bryan. And as much as I love watching Mike run the course and think he's fantastic, there is no way I had Mike over Sean. There's no way. But he used that technique that you mentioned. He was he was jumping those pegs and actually made me like that obstacle for a minute. I was like, okay, so this is the way to do that and make it exciting and fast.
Damn, Rich, you are savage. I like that obstacle, man.
I like it on A&W. I did not like it on this course. That's to be clear. It is a good obstacle. It slowed things down too much for me.
I guess. I really enjoyed the fact that he did the hopping bar, but I in many ways, maybe that like screwed everybody over because we saw so many different people trying it and not getting it. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe that'll work." But I don't know. You're talking about one of the best ever when it comes to the salmon ladder and that kind of, it's not the same technique, of course, but there's similar like grips and movements and muscle memory involved with both obstacles. And Mike Bernardo can really, do that and without fail. And I don't know, man, too many people trying that technique, but man, was that entertaining to see, right?
Oh, it was. I mean, I can't wait till the WWE calls Bernardo and signs him after seeing him after their show.
He would be perfect.
He would be.
Oh, you know what it is? I think I finally realized why I'm down on the bars. I love watching the back end of the course. I love watching everybody competing on that, and we got so little of that this episode because of those bars.
That's a good point. You're right. We went there, what, twice?
I think so, yeah.
Once, man. Like, in terms of the extended course, we only saw it during the relay once. So, yeah, it's that pluses and minuses. I think if this was to be, relatively there all season long, we're going to see more and more people complete it. This is the first time I think we've seen competitors try this approach to it. So they just went all out, and, that kind of stuff happens. But honestly, I'll take this over, I don't know, an obstacle in that position like floating shelf grab, which I love, but, it's a whole lot of whoever gets there first is more likely to get to the end in the warped wall. I think with this, there's much more of a question mark of who can get through it faster.
Absolutely. It's not who gets there first. It's who does it the best. And you can still catch up and pass people on it, which is amazing, as we saw with Bernardo.
Yeah.
This matchup, when you look at it, they fast forwarded Grace versus Rebekah, but really Rebekah saves the tryhards here, right? She's the only one of the three that won her matchup,
right?
And she fell on the bars, and Grace had the time. So if Grace had completed that would have meant the tryhards would have been swept as well.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't think anyone was expecting to see Adam fall twice on that course.
Yeah, Adam's fast SOB, and he's been winning all of the local things, every local speed competition and national event, and then to see him fall on things like that is nothing anyone would have guessed.
Yeah, that genuinely surprised me. It's just I'm really curious what might have been. It didn't really seem like he didn't know what to do. Like it's Adam Rayl, he knows what to do. I think it's just one of those things where too fast, too many emotions. It could be many things.
Another thing that you might not be able to pick up from watching on the show, and I know they didn't really talk about this, but the little bars were carbon fiber bars, and they're very slick and they're very easy to rotate. And I'm wondering if that's what got a lot of people.
That's a good point. Anybody that's tried these, pegs, and I'm sure a lot of listeners that have trained at gyms with the floating monkey bars, that makes a world of difference, that rotation.
It does.
Jamie could speak directly to it, actually. Jamie,
oh, yeah. I mean,
you actually made up some time on those bars. Did you find them slick or difficult because of that, or?
No, not at all. I mean, my technique kind of took out the ability of them to kind of rotate on me because I was holding one in towards the other. However, I didn't give myself enough room to make a transfer over. So like you talk about, someone sees something done and then everyone thinks, oh, that's the way to do it. That's perfect. We're going to do it. And they fail. Then you see someone fails like, oh, that's terrible. I'm not going to try that one. And throughout the night and through every ninja competition, that happens so often. So this was brand new to us. So I was in my head thinking, do I monkey bar it like a normal thing and, slow and control, but may not be as fast? Do I try and hop it? It's very tight together. I may just kind of bash my elbows into the edge. Or do I kind of ratchet it side by side, kind of like a rolling thunder or the rumble dice? And I made the decision when I got there that the side by side would be the quickest, and to make up time would just kind of need to be. I believe people were peeling out doing the one arm because of that rotation. So I wanted to make sure that I was locked off, and I didn't feel any rotation because of that. But those bars are carbon fiber and feel so light, which is very strange for people who don't really handle lightweight bars. I know when I first started training, we just had like a solid aluminum bar or, metal conduit that we would use as a stamina ladder bar and stuff like that. And from moving that around to a near weightless thing is quite shocking. So that could also be strange for people to try and move something, have it move further than they expect, and have it roll easier than they expect it to. Is just the adaptability and the strength. If it's not there, then they're just right in the water.
Makes a lot of sense. Thanks for breaking it down for us. When we go back to the matchup here, it actually went to relays. And in the two relays, it was relatively close, actually. We usually have more of a separation going. It was, with the tryhard slightly ahead, Adam hitting the bars first, and then Bernardo fell trying to make that hop that he had done so successfully the first time around, and then the second time trying to do it one-handed and got twisted. It sounds like almost exactly as you described, Jamie, I think.
Yeah.
The bar twisted on him and he ended up falling. So the tryhards did manage to make the comeback, and all three did a backflip, which was very impressive. So that led into the finals between the tryhards and the Wisco Warriors, and we had Sean Bryan versus Drew Knapp to kick it off. And Sean Bryan, with a pretty good lead, ends up taking a spill like a nasty spill off the bars, landing flat on his butt. Like it looked very, very painful.
That was brutal, man. Like straight on the, I don't know, tailbone, but just the way you land with the momentum going forward into that, right? Like you can really mess up your spine landing in that position. So, you know, it looked like it was hurting, but overall, I'm hoping he's okay. He definitely looked like it, you know, he wasn't in any serious types of pain, like, you know, injuries. But yeah, that's rough. And I have a feeling that played a major factor later on. That guy was probably hurting, man.
The only person that might have been hurting a little more was actually Sara. Ended up falling on the tiles for the second time. Yeah. And that looked really nasty. Like she knocked the wind out of herself, or like she really looked shaken after that.
That is one obstacle I hope we never see again. I think it's, no matter what's done to it, no matter how much it's padded, it's still just a little too dangerous, especially with the Ninja vs. Ninja rules, where you can basically do anything you want to stay alive. And people do. They throw themselves at it, and that's where people get hurt.
That's a good point.
Do you know what would be a good replacement for it? You think something along those lines?
It's a great question.
I have cooling spinning logs of doom. So a straight log that rotates as you run across it side by side. Because I feel people would be running, you know, close enough to each other that they would bounce into each other, and you wouldn't have this sort of, you know, you come off of the obstacle and you could, or maybe it's just one spinning log, but a big issue of safety, not even just the padding, the flowing, but the fact that you're landing on a moving bungee that's already in play just can create so many injuries just from landing on it and not being able to absorb that impact.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, you can get your leg caught up on that, and if your bottom flings the other way, you can really hurt yourself. I definitely understand the concerns with it, and we've seen, especially when the bungees are moving, people fail immediately. That you traditionally can see them doing well, and that's got to be so hard to do. So I can imagine that is a very, very frustrating obstacle.
It's very intimidating, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the one that was in everyone's head.
Yeah.
Is like you two are veterans, is it still where, in my opinion, it seems like most people fear the balance-based obstacles the most. Is that still an approach that's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people train upper body because they know that's the majority of the show. And then when they get to the lower body, one, it's hard to train these types of balance movements in a safe way in a gym atmosphere, rather than having a big foam pit or a big pool of water underneath you. A lot of these things can really kind of whip out under you pretty quickly, or you could tumble and trip. So you really need to have good setup. But another thing is that some of them are pretty finicky. So an upper body finicky obstacle could be the salmon ladder, the flying bar, where one move you're actually not attached to anything and you can come down and miss it, and that's the end of it. Where a lot of the upper body is, if you're strong enough, you could just move your way through the cannonballs. You don't have to ever let go of anything, or have that moment of, if I don't grab this, I'm done. But balance, almost all of them are one misstep or one miss and you're out of it right off the bat. So I think the chances of falling are greater because you're in that moment of, it could go badly so quickly.
And for any kind of balance obstacle, no matter how much you train it, anything can happen, and you can slip and fall, and that's what gets in the ninjas' heads.
I mean, they could put a big spinning log that you have to ride and get you all dizzy first, and then that could be an issue too.
Oh, they would never do that, Jamie. Come on.
Oh, never.
Doesn't sound like them at all.
No.
So it did go to relay, and they were finally able to put it all together in one run. Tryhards brought it home in the final relay.
Man, I was nervous. Like, we're low-key, like, misrepresenting. Like, Wisco Warriors did fantastic this episode. Like, it's one thing, like, Tryhards, they were struggling a little bit, and all this stuff. But props out to Wisco Warriors. They fought, and they had to face two of the toughest teams in all of Ninja vs. Ninja. And I'm not saying that just because you're on the show, Jamie. Like, seriously, Superior Squad, like, I think is really high up there. And Tryhards, like, those are two really tough teams, and they took them on full force. They didn't look nervous. They just really gave it their all, and I don't know, props to them, man. And especially that end, like, at the end, like, Adam Rail's kind of going through the zigzag, and what do you call it? Like, who was it? Was it Drew Knapp that was at the end, or was it the other guy?
They'd put Drew against him.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, Drew. Well, man, he made like I thought he was gonna catch Adam. Honestly, the guy was flying through that final portion. So, I mean, they gave it their all to the very end. Props.
You know what's really interesting about the final race to me, and the whole episode whole? The tryhards, like you guys said, were clearly one of the favorite teams going in, and they made almost every mistake you could make and still ended up winning the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. They fell all over the place. There was lots of strange moments through the episode. And sorry, just to mention, Wisco Warriors, we didn't actually give all their names. Drew Knapp, Andrew Philibeck, and Sara Heesen. Fantastic job.
And Andrew was the one racing Adam up the zigzag at the end on the relay. Yep.
Yeah, dude was amazing.
The zigzag, have you guys talked about that a lot? That's an interesting obstacle. I really liked it.
It's cool.
It was. I got to do it a ton. Unfortunately, Jamie, I don't know if you did, which is a bummer.
I never touched it.
Oh, you would have loved it.
I feel like it's a good, weird way to balance out the obstacles because I feel like height is such a great advantage for most of the course and then suddenly a big disadvantage at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think height is a disadvantage in it?
Depends on the width of it.
I will say, as someone has tried, all these spider, type of obstacles, I have very long legs. That is very difficult to do for me. I don't know if I've got the right technique or something. I think I do, but man, I think it definitely height matters. And as you said, Jamie, the extension or the spread between the two walls really is a big factor. But yeah, ooh, that hurts.
A little tidbit on the zigzag. One night we showed up to film and suddenly it was humid in LA, right? It's not really humid in LA. And it was like 98% humidity one night.
Ooh.
I hopped on it to test it to see how it felt, and I could barely do it. It was so impossibly hard. We actually ended up taking about 10 people and spent 2 hours cleaning and polishing it just so it was doable. And I wonder if you guys picked that up in the episode, how it seemed like some episodes people flew up it, and some episodes it looked like they had traction issues.
I always assumed it was their footwear, to be honest.
Yeah, I always just figured, it could be scale or footwear, but that's a good point. It does make a major factor, especially with the type of material they're using on here. It can be very, very slippery.
We saw Najee actually fall in it, didn't we?
That's right.
Yeah, I think that was more of foot placement, though. If I remember correctly, he kind of just missed it. I don't know if it was a hand transition or a foot transition, but I think he slipped out somewhere.
And let me tell you, nobody really wanted to fall from the top up there either.
Oh boy, I can imagine that thing looks so high up.
Do you know that? The bummer for me, I don't think they showed anybody coming down from it. That was the coolest part of it.
Oh yeah.
The way we let everyone come down was we had an audible set up with a wrist strap, so you put your wrist through a
sling.
A sling, yeah, thank you. So when you're at the top, you put your wrist through a sling, hold on to it, and jump off the edge, and you're lowered down. 40-foot ride to glory.
Dude, that is awesome. So it's kind of like you're a superhero, just doing your winning streak. That, man, they should highlight that.
They should. All the ninjas were flying down. It was cool to watch. Sorry, Jamie.
Okay, so
it's okay. I got to do it in stages of Vegas before.
That's right.
So next week we'll actually be going into the wild card rounds. The layout of the rest of this season, I don't know if we'll break it all down right now, but there's a few wild card rounds, and we'll kind of go through those. Looking at who the teams are. Next week we'll be seeing Dark Horse versus NorCal Ninjas, Frostbite versus the All American Ninjas, and Midwest Muscle versus Lizard Kings. So some of our favorites are coming back.
Oh, I gotta have the picks, man. Ooh, there's two that really stand out to me. I'm curious to hear, Rich's thoughts, but really for me, Lizard Kings and Frostbite really stand out when it comes to these teams. That said, all of the teams can win. I mean, these are some strong teams. NorCal Ninjas, do not sleep on those guys. Midwest Muscle, they're low key. They can really do some damage. I think that what matters is the obstacles being approached when it comes to Midwest Muscle. Tyler, he gets the right obstacles. That guy's gonna bulldoze everybody. But Frostbite and Lizard Kings really stand out to me. I go back and forth. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Lizard Kings. because
sorry, I should be clear that I should specify. Like, I don't think we should even bother making picks for this, because the way they're doing it, it's like single elimination. Each of those teams, they're going to square off, and whoever wins moves on. Like, it's not the same format as we've had.
Bro. And I'll do it and get all the glory. So Frostbite's definitely going to win their matchup. Lizard King's going to win their matchup, and I don't know who else is matched up on that. But those are definitely two ones to look out for winning, because yeah, I think they're very hungry, and I think they really, really want it. They came close to glory, and they just eked out losing, and I think they are going to come for redemption. So yeah, I'll take the glory. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. You go right ahead. I have no problem picking Midwest Muscle. I love Tyler, Kirsty, and Ethan. I think that's a fantastic team. So thank you so much, Geoff and Jamie, for joining us. It's been fantastic having you once again.
My pleasure.
So do you want to give us a little rundown, Ninja Nation? How can they get some more information? I think I saw job applications on there. If you want to kind of give a rundown of what's left to know about Ninja Nation and your contact info.
Oh, thanks, Rich. It's always a pleasure to be here. And you can find us on the web at ninjanation.com anytime, or on any social media at One Ninja Nation. And we're always hiring. So please feel free to send a resume. We would love to have you.
And that's ONE Ninja Nation.
Thank you.
Yes. Want them to find us.
Yes.
That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151. Special shout out to both Geoff and Jamie. You guys were awesome. It's a pleasure having you guys, and thank you so much. I mean, I've been a fan forever, as you guys know. Jamie, you're one of the OGs, really the one of the super fans that started very early on in the show, having your own character and really evolving, yourself, not only as a character, but also a personality and as a person, as a human being, every single year. And it's kind of like we grow up with you. So it's truly an honor to have you on here, and just once keep on killing it. You're great, and I'm really appreciative of the fact that you guys are teaming up and really embracing the children's passions for the show, and really giving safe environments and gyms for many youths to enjoy this really the sport and everything going on. So I'm very excited, and all the best to both of you guys. Love you guys.
Thanks. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
That's how we end? That's how we end.
That's how we're ending it.
And just so you guys know, I will be coming back to compete next season on season 11.